most of us imams, including myself, we conduct interculture and diversity training for companies, employees, even for police officers in our city here in Phoenix all the time. We feel there is a lot of lack of education about what Islam is, who Muslims are, how the Muslim, why Muslim men might have a beard, why Muslim women might have a headscarf, how the Muslim prayer looks like. Yeah, we feel there is a need of a lot of education and understanding.
Yeah, hey, listen, Shakira, there's a lot of need for education and understanding for you, you phony you. Listen, this whole thing on the airline was a setup from the get-go. This is how I see it. They set the whole thing up just to sue and just to force diversity training down our throats. And I say, shove it up your beer, Johnson, because I'm not buying your crap. One of you is on a watch list as you're going to listen to this show in this hour. You're going to find out from a reputable scholar, a real one, unlike you unwatched throwbacks from the 9th century. Robert Spencer of Jihad Watch is going to expose on this program that one of those 6 phony imams who's belly aching from here to Brooklyn, one of those bozos with a beard, telling us we need diversity training. You're going to find out what it's all about on this show in this hour. This is unbelievable to me, how the American media just gobbles this up from these liars and takes it from them without standing up to them. They're getting away with murder. These are con men. These are con men of the lowest order, but they're dangerous con men. Their dignity has been compromised. Then buy a one-way ticket back to Beirut, where you belong. If you think that your dignity is compromised here, go and try your act over in Syria. I've never seen anything like this. This is the most disgusting display of a manipulation of the American media I have ever seen. All of these innocent imams. But there it is. But the American people are buying it. Racist America. We're not sensitive enough. We don't understand them well enough. He feels there's a need for education and understanding. He's absolutely right there's a need for education and understanding. He needs to understand that he's not living in Lebanon. He needs to understand he's not living in Egypt. He needs to understand he's not going to drag us back 1,000 years. He needs to understand we're not going to put our women in burqas. He needs to understand that if he wants to live in Rome, he ought to do what the Romans do, or we'll throw him out of this country. And one day, as shocking as what I just said to you may sound today because you've been deballed, because your guts have been ripped out of you. If you found what I just said shocking and revolting, it's because you're no longer an American. You're no longer a human being. You're a man without dignity, and you're a man without a country. Because if you had any dignity, if you had any sense of selfhood, if you had any sense of national pride, you'd react the way I do. But if you found yourself being angry at me for what I just said, that's because you've had your guts ripped out of you. You have been deballed. You have been sanitized. You've been homogenized. You've been pasteurized. You've been rubberized. You are no longer a man. You no longer have a country. You are nothing but mush. And welcome to the Savage Nation. Now I want to hear the bell. If you don't mind, give me the bell because I'm ready for the next 4 rounds of this 12-round bout. 4 more, and the title will be mine. 1-800-449-8255 is the phone number. Any topic, of course, is not fair game. Only the topics that I find are fair will be game. My dog has just been let into the radio studio. Teddy, say something to the audience. Come here. Teddy, say something. Bark. He doesn't know how to bark on cue, but he can rattle his chain. Because unlike the liberals of America, while Teddy's chains rattle is not the sign of bondage, but the sign of liberation. I am right now in a sweat from what I just played for you. These 6 phony scholars, these fraudulent. I wish I could have a drink with you right now to tell you what I think needs to be done for us to save America. I've never seen. I've lived quite a number of decades. I've never seen America more demoralized than it is now. Do you know how many men that I've met in the last few days who I've said Happy Thanksgiving while you still have it, and they say to me, yes, Mike, we agree with you. Do you know how many men feel that the country is just about gone? When you have these third world garbage coming in here and telling us that we need education and understanding from these low-life rats, these throat-cutting scum, come into my beautiful country, and they tell me we need understanding and education from those rats? Rats like him? What is he going to teach me that I don't already know? But then again, I'll give you diversity training if you want to listen to this show. I'll give you diversity training you'll never forget. I'll teach you what it's like to have pride. I'll teach you what it's like to be an American. I'll teach you what it's like to understand that you're going to lose your country unless you stand up to these uneducated rats. These are uneducated men who call themselves scholars. They're no scholars. What's their level of education? They went to a madras somewhere in Pakistan or Egypt where they learned to hate America, where they learned to hate Jews, where they learned to hate Christians. That's their scholarship, and the fools in the media call them scholars? They're not scholars. I'm a scholar. I'm a legitimate PhD from a great university. I've written many books. I'm a scholar, not those rats. But the vermin in the media, the left-wing vermin in the media, call them scholars with reverence. Me, they won't even have on this show. Because I espouse borders, language, and culture. I espouse a national pride that is no longer permitted in this country. But the capons in the media, the geldings who had their testicles cut off from the time they were born, the little geldings who went to journalism school, to them, anyone from a foreign country is a wizard, a scholar, a genius. But anyone who stands up for America is a right-wing fanatic who needs to be thrown out of the country. Well, I'll tell you something, Buster. If there's going to be any throwing, I'm going to do it. And the millions like me will do it. We're not getting thrown out of this country. We're never going to get thrown out of this country. We'll drive them out before they drive us out. Now, I want to say a few other things for Thanksgiving, a little Thanksgiving love. I want to give you a little more Thanksgiving love and peace. But I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to hold my fire. But I am warning you that unless you get as fired up as I am against these rabble, this third world garbage that is flooding on our shores. These, it's not bad enough that they're coming here and destroying our schools and our hospitals, which is a matter of fact, Mrs. Liberal. It's not bad enough that they're having anchor babies here to make certain that your daughter winds up a servant to them, Mrs. Liberal. But now we have a new wave of third world garbage washing up on our shore. Not only are they sucking our welfare dry, destroying our hospitals and schools, but they're telling us that our culture is inferior to theirs, and we need their sensitivity training. From the land where women are given clitorectomies, we need their sensitivity training. From the land where women are forced to wear an outfit from the 11th century, we need him to tell us about cultural diversity. From a land where the men treat women worse than you would treat a cat or a dog, we need him to lecture us on diversity and sensitivity. I spit in his dirty face. I'll be right back.
Savage. News Talk 870. Hugh Hewitt.